You know what? When I was preparing for this, I had to think about the value of education. A little known fact is that many, many years ago, I was accepted and got the letter to go to Harvard University. I did. But, don't clap yet, I found out immediately that I was pregnant with my second daughter. And another known fact is that right now she's applied to and more than likely will be accepted at Harvard University. Yeah! Yeah! So I had to think about that. It was 15 years after that I went ahead and got my master's in professional counseling, but guess what it entailed and what the master's at Harvard would have entailed? Me leaving my family, picking up, going and moving into dorms, paying tuition, or being concerned about parent portion or whatever to go ahead and make that experience happen. So if you think about education in general, it's very important, but it also happens in a way where it's expensive typically. When I went and got my master's degree, one of the things that the instructors were nervous about is that all this time that you're coming to this classroom, and we spend a lot of time, over 2 years of having to go weekly, daily, you spend all this time in the classroom buying books, buying supplies just to make that experience happen. They were real nervous about the online education becoming a reality. Why? Because I think they knew it would mean their jobs, and that everybody who was coming to the classroom wouldn't have to come and would make their experience different in terms of having a job. But I did do some looking at the value of online education, and it is important, and that's where I think SLS has really, really put us ahead of the curve. When I started in 2012, we had nothing but books and supplies that we had to read in order to get ready to go into the field. It was not until 2017, I believe, when we went ahead and put the SLS University in place. And when it comes to online education, this is what the research has shown. It is very beneficial. That e-learning is the greatest revolution in today's education. Why? Because pretty much you can save thousands of dollars in tuition and travel and all of that. You also get the chance to study exactly what you want, when you want, and you don't have to leave, you don't have to travel away from home, you don't have to live in dorms. Your learning is at your fingertips. You don't have to worry about public transportation to get to the class or gas in your car in order to go to class as well. So it's also a situation where all your lectures and your materials are right there at your fingertips. And it is self-paced learning. You can start and stop at any time when you're doing online education. And you can arrange your own learning schedule so that you get what you need when you need it. And the traditional college, again, is a good thing. I'm not bashing it in this situation, but I have decided, after doing a lot of studying about the value of online education, I am officially adding our SLS University to one of the top 10 prestigious online Ivy League training programs. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But if you take a look at that SLS University, we all had to do it in order to get the certification, in order to get the certificate to show that we did it. There are 10 sections to the university, and I looked at the top and it says this is 13 hours and 19 minutes worth of learning. So compare that to, like I said, I had to go about 2.5 years worth of going to the class just to get the degree that I do have. The 10 sections include the system, the pre-enrollment conversation right there at your fingertips, overcoming objections, the products, pre-appointment conversations, double up, how do I get paid? Very important section. What stays pays, and we heard a lot about that today, and the 10 keys to success. All of those sections are there. It's our own training center, but I've heard Henry talk a lot about he's had the chance to take a peek and to see how many times after we got our certification, we did 72 classes out of 72. After we got that certification, how many times we've gone back. So I noted that there is a report card out there, and there's also a usage report. So when I went recently to go ahead and prepare for this, I noted that it was able to tell me, okay, you've logged in 3 times out of 3. So Henry, have I broken the secret of how you're able to look at everybody's usage report? Okay, he's looking at that usage report. So we're going to do this. I know if you look at your own usage report, you're going to see that you got your certification, but we're going to treat the SLS University a little different. We're going to, and in order to tell you how we're going to treat it, I'm going to pull on exercise and neuroscience. And for the exercise part, I want to thank my cohort, Ms. Jennifer Walker, who, as you can see, knows the value of exercise. I took the time to try to wake up and exercise one time with Jennifer. Y'all don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Woo! So I am still doing it, though. I'm on a journey to make sure what we said on our perfect week card is in fact happening, that when you wake up, you go ahead and exercise your mind and your body. Why? So that you'll be better prepared for the day. So when it comes to SLS University, I want us to consider the same thing. When it comes to exercising, we can't just exercise one time and be done with it, right? So it's going to be the same way with our SLS University. We're going to consider the fact that instead of just going to it one time like we all did, we're going to have to go back in order to prepare ourselves to have a good experience and to be ready for whatever comes our way. Why is this important? Because we are still encountering objections, right? So in order to be reminded how we can handle that when it comes to that same concept of going back and being prepared for that objection, who knows, maybe the objection we hear that day is the one we study for 10 minutes, 15 minutes on SLS University. So as exercise is important to continue on a daily basis, I'm going to encourage us all to consider the same thing when it comes to SLS University. I also looked up the definition of neuroplasticity. Everybody say that word with me, neuroplasticity. And it's a really deep definition. It's the change in the neural pathways and synapses by pruning and deleting the natural connections that are no longer necessary and strengthening the necessary ones. So just like I do in the home, I take pride in breaking stuff down so everybody can understand it. What that pretty much means, that's the ability to train your own brain so that the things you do need stay there and grow. The things that you don't need just go away. So neuroplasticity, from what I found out, it can be, your brain pretty much is a muscle. You can exercise it and increase things. So when you don't get enough sleep, remember we talked about that too as far as having a perfect week, your brain pretty much can suffer and you won't be ready. How many times have you awakened and said, I have a brain fog? Have you noticed that? So if you don't get enough sleep and you know what your body needs, that can really have an impact. When it comes to using the SLS University, since we are out there looking at those things that we've seen one time, the more we see it and we're able to also apply it in the home, then our brains are growing in strength and in energy and are now able to do it like clockwork because we've seen it, we've practiced it, and now our brain is ready to expand and use it on a daily basis, not only for ourselves, but to teach other people. So SLS University is the way. It's not going to be a thing that we exercise one time, which, again, we've already done. We're going to definitely make sure we keep going back. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to quote Zig Ziglar. It's all about learning, but you have to be willing. If you are not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you are determined to learn, no one can stop you at all. So we got the learning at our fingertips. It's not like the book that I had years ago that I haven't even opened again because I'm done with that part of my education. This is the experience that keeps on giving and giving and giving because it's at our fingertips, and we can prepare ourselves to be the best agents possible by using the power of the SLS University. So let's do it! Yeah.